In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 4 greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe.
Johnny Rocket, Rodger Paxton, Chris Spangle, Marc, Clair,
Welcome to the League of Liberty podcast. My name is Chris Spangle, the host of We Are Libertarians, which you can listen to at wearelibertarians.com. I am joined by my 3 favorite fellow libertarian podcasters, three of the libertarians that I like the most. Let's start in descending order. Rodger Paxton, I like you third. So Rodger of the Lava Flow podcast. Rodger, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I was really surprised when you said your 3 favorite libertarian podcasters. I thought it would only be 2, but it's great to be here, so thanks for having me.
No, the 4 of us, there I can't count, really put a lot of work into what we do, and you guys run excellent outlets. Some of us can't talk. I'm going to go with a tie here for the next 2, because I like these 2 gentlemen equal. It goes Marc and Johnny, and then Rodger. Next up is from LaunchPad Media. It is the vivacious Johnny Rocket. Johnny, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. Thank you so much for introducing me somewhat nicely.
You have retooled. Of course, Johnny, you're the nicest person in here. I mean, you and Marc easily. Like, Rodger and I are dicks. Like, everybody knows that. But, like, you're a very nice boy. And you have done a great job with the relaunch of LaunchPad Media. It looks beautiful.
Oh, you like it?
Oh, so professional. Sounds great, looks great, and you have 2 minutes hate, and it's all good. Now
I do have that 2 minutes of hate, yeah.
Last, but certainly not first or least, is the hot sauce eating, spicy analed, Emmy Award winning Marc Clair from Lions of Liberty. Marc, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, gentlemen, and everything you've said is technically true.
I might add a literal Emmy Award winner. That is awesome, Marc.
I am an
is
Emmy
awesome.
Award-winning podcaster, and I'm going to start using that line, even though it has nothing to do with podcasting.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Marc. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Dude.
It was
By the way, yeah, I did want to say that to you, buddy. Good job.
It's
Awesome.
a
Sorry,
beautiful
I knew you were waiting
award.
for the League of Liberty.
The award is enormous. I mean, tell us about the actual Emmy itself.
And did you have to pay for it? Because I understand that most people have to pay for their own awards when they win shit like that.
Yeah, I think the only people that don't pay for their own Emmy are like really big stars that might just have it given to them. And then the company, it's a group Emmy, so we won for a larger production that many of us worked on. But I think some of the higher end people might have had theirs paid for entirely. They paid for our certificates, so I didn't have to pay for that. Normally, I think those are like $100 or something like that. But and then when it comes to the statue, you can either buy one or not have one, and obviously I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to have an actual Emmy statue in my house. So I do.
So you have to answer. How much did it cost?
It costs. Let me think. I think it was $475 plus shipping.
That's not bad. I thought it'd be a hell of a lot more than that.
I thought it was going to be like $700 or $800. So I was actually somewhat relieved.
I would have skipped it. I would have been like, I got it, but yeah, fuck that.
No, I would have absolutely bought that shit.
You're only going to get $75 for that at the pawn shop because they take half and then half that.
Well,
so.
when it's deceased libertarian podcaster Marc Clair's Emmy in 50 years, of course, I won't care how much it goes for when I'm deceased. Really, I guess.
There you go.
All right.
I don't know, man. That's still pretty cool. It's still expensive paperweight, though. I'm telling you.
Chris, I like in the intro, we quickly descended from your 3 favorite podcasters to 3 of your favorite libertarian podcasters. There was a decided shift I heard in the phrasing right away. Just wanted you to know that I noticed. Okay.
It certainly was not intentional. I was holding out for Tom Woods, because I'd like to be on his show one day like Johnny.
His actual favorites are Tom Woods, Jason Stapleton, and Mance Raider. Chris's other league his fantasy League of Liberty that he dreams about at night.
Mance came out of nowhere. Like I don't know about. I'm sure you guys heard of him long before I did, but like I heard of him in like August, and then all of a sudden now everybody's talking about Mance Raider.
Yeah, I've been following him on Twitter for a long time now, and I'm actually going to be on his show for the second time this week. He's having me on to talk about voluntarism specifically. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, Mance is great, man, and yeah, he was on the old LaunchPad, actually, before it went over to Blastoff. So I got him before, and I think I was on his show. Yes, I was. So, yeah, he's
For
a cool
anybody who
guy.
wants to hang out with him and meet him, you can come to Liberty Forum in New Hampshire in February. He'll be one of our speakers at Liberty Forum.
That was
How about you invite him to Porcfest too, and then I don't need to make 2 trips to New Hampshire.
Yeah, I may have to do that.
Because one was good, and one will be good again, but 2.
Hey, Rodger, I do have a question for you though. How did that picture of you and I end up on the Free State Project?
Beats the shit out of me. I didn't even remember that picture being taken, to be honest.
I have no idea.
Rachel, the
In
the
fairness,
executive
Johnny
director of
doesn't
the Free
remember
State
any
Project.
pictures being taken.
That's
Johnny
kinda
doesn't
true.
even remember being there.
It was a great picture, though. I like
Yeah,
it.
it was great. No, actually,
Yeah,
I
the
do
next
remember
week, Johnny
being
was like, "Yo, I heard Porcfest. It's pretty cool. We should check it out sometime." I was like, "You don't remember? Oh,
You were there,
you don't
dude.
remember
Yeah.
any of that, do you?"
there. It's a big blur. Yeah, it is. It is a blur.
Is Porcfest, has it been announced yet?
Yes, the dates are. It's basically the same week as it was this year, June 18th through the 22nd. I don't know, something like that. But it's on at porcfest.com. PORC fest.com.
Are you still
This
running
year we
it?
get paid to go, right?
We are still running it. Yes, my wife and I. Matter of fact, my wife is now the paid events director, running all of the events for the Free State Project.
That's pretty cool.
Nice. Congrats,
Glad.
man.
That's
Now-
how much ass we kicked at Porcfest last year. They were like, "Okay, we're going to pay you to do this shit."
Yeah.
Okay,
Sweet.
Now, Mark is eating. Mark, what are you eating?
Damn it. I'm eating a tuna sandwich. That's what I'm
Now,
eating.
I've got grapes. Are you two eating or drinking?
Normally, I would not eat in the middle of a podcast, but as you guys know, time in these days is tight, especially when you do multiple bonus shows for Patreon. I'm appearing on Spangle's buddy, the Brian Nichols show tomorrow. I just have podcast after podcast after podcast scheduled, and this is the only time to consume any food. So I apologize, but hey, make for a fun segment.
at least you're eating some tuna, right? It could be worse.
Ooh.
I feel like that's a sex joke somehow.
It is.
Very
It
much a little
is.
bit, yeah.
It is. He was trying for it. Yeah. At least you're eating pussy, man. At least
But anyway,
you're
you-
eating pussy. Yeah.
You asked if Johnny and Rodger were drinking anything. We know Johnny's drinking something because he's
I
not
don't
working.
drink. I don't drink.
Because he's breathing.
right.
I don't drink. I swear to God, guys, if I quit drinking, that's when I die. Like I've had this like epiphany the other day. I was just like, you know what? If I stopped drinking, it would be like a shock to my system. It would be like, oh, you're gonna die now. You know, like if this is what keeps me alive. I swear to God.
That's sort of like me and Chick-fil-A.
Is
Yeah,
that just
there you
a
go.
bottle of Beefeater? What is that? You're drinking straight? What are you
Beef
drinking?
eater. Smear it off, man.
Let me tell you about my love affair with Chick-fil-A. So the closest Chick-fil-A to us where we live now
so
is an
good.
hour and a half. So my wife and I will plan shopping trips around hitting Chick-fil-A in the morning for breakfast, going shopping, and then hitting Chick-fil-A in the afternoon for lunch. I shit you not, we've done that twice since we've been to New Hampshire.
That's beautiful.
Okay, so since we're doing this video Zoom here,
Oh,
this
no.
is the Johnny Rocket.
Johnny, don't.
Johnny Rocket.
He's
There we
pouring
go.
straight vodka into a Miller Lite can.
Johnny is pouring vodka into his Miller Lite can, and if he does the real Johnny Rocket, he might even add some hot sauce to that, but I don't know if he has it accessible.
How much beer was left in there?
About half. I'm good.
Oh, that makes me want to throw up just thinking about it.
Put wine in it. Do it.
Oh, no, fuck that bullshit. Bitches drink wine.
Hey, motherfucker, I drink wine.
Why?
Because I
Why?
love the stuff, man. There's so much flavor in wine. I love wine.
Okay.
It's a hell of a lot more flavor than goddamn vodka. Are you serious?
No, hence I like the no flavor. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good point. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you
I
that.
don't like flavor. I enjoy whiskey. I'll tell you that. I do enjoy my single malt.
I do enjoy
However-
it. No matter.
Yeah. But I mean, here's the thing though. Like vodka, it's great with beer. That's just been my thing for like, I don't know how many years, man. Probably going on 7. 7 years I've been doing this. And people are just like, it sucks.
And how long have you been a libertarian, Johnny?
7 years. So I think
Coincidence?
vodka has coincidence.
So what I'm hearing is libertarianism and alcoholism work together in
they
tandem.
do. They do. They do.
They're not required to function for one to function or the other, but they can serve as complements.
Trust me, as someone who doesn't drink, libertarians are a hell of a lot easier to take when you're drunk.
There you go. Could you imagine Porcfest if we were all sober? I mean, it was hard enough for
Jesus.
Chris, I'm sure, but
I mean, I was so well. Hey, I was sober for most of it because I was working. So I don't know what you're talking about. until Friday night. I got shit.
You know what's
Friday
cool
night.
though is that we're still talking about Porcfest, and it's been 6 months later, or 7 months, or no, 5 months later. We're still talking about it. I mean, that's cool that we've had that much of a good time, and we're still talking about Porcfest.
Well,
And
you
here
guys
we
have
are.
got to come back. You guys have got to come back this year.
We're committed. I mean, maybe not verbally, but well, that was verbally. I just said it out loud. So yeah,
There you go.
the Lions are committed. We've already discussed. We were talking about trying to get like maybe getting like a Lions Liberty camper, just renting a big camper van and having that there instead of the car/hotel rental thing.
Well, here's the thing. The only way I would like to go back to Porcfest is if we had Kim Ruff speak there for her presidential nomination.
Look at this guy now.
Bam. You got to
Now
work
he's
for
gonna,
it. You know,
now he's
she's
gonna
my
show
wife.
his wife
She's my
everywhere
wife.
he goes.
Yeah.
So if you go to porcfest.com/speakers, I think it is, there's a form that you can fill out to recommend speakers.
I
for
will
Porcfest.
do that. I will do that, Roger. I will, sir.
Rodger is incorruptible.
Right.
Here's a 20, buddy. Here's a 20.
Now, having been the only sober person at Porcfest, to truly have been the only one to see the carnage that the Lions wrecked, the havoc that they caused, I don't know. I don't know if this van's a good idea, man.
It may or may not be, but at least we wouldn't have to worry about Howie taking a drunken walk back to a hotel.
Nothing parties like a rental.
But we would need to worry about Howie taking a drunk walk into someone else's camper,
Yeah, you're right.
which would almost definitely happen.
Let's just stop it. Somebody needs to worry about Howie.
Yeah. I gave up worrying about Howie a long time ago.
Have John Odermatt babysit him.
Well, no, I mean, Chris Spangle's going to be sober, so we can just put Chris Spangle in charge of it.
There you go.
Howie almost, I don't know if you guys have listened yet. You don't need to tell me that you have or haven't, but the episode of the Lions of Liberty that dropped today is we have revisited the Liberty draft once again, and Howie almost teased, I guess he was joking, but he first teased that he was going to take his best friend Chris Spangle as the first draft pick, but I guess it was a joke. He ended up taking someone else.
Well, then
I'm not going to say who, though. You got to tune in.
Then he's lost. He's lost already. So it's a guaranteed L. I saw it come in my feed. I joined the Patreon for the other three. I rejoined because I was in 10 cities this year, so I had to cut every expense to make all that travel work and rejoined. So I'm enjoying all of your bonus content. I was watching Marc before we started as he ate hot sauce, and you were yelling at Brian McWilliams to shut up, which I imagine goes on a lot.
That does go on a lot.
But a lot of good work from the three of you.
So I have an announcement to make. Next week, Blast Off with Johnny Rocket is hosting and moderating the very first radical presidential libertarian debate.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So we have Arvin Vora, Daniel Berman, and Kim Ruff, and Ben Letter on the show. So we're going to have an actual live show. We're going to use Zoom, Marc Clair.
You're trying to beat me to the first debate, Johnny? Is that what's happening here?
That's right.
Now I got to go schedule one for tonight.
Yeah. So you sucked. No, but actually I did tell him to
all right.
contact you
Invitation
guys. By
is
the
the best form of
way,
flattery.
so for the previous ones, I did tell him to contact you guys to do the follow-up debate. So
Yeah, the
please,
day that I have a Libertarian Party presidential debate on my show will be the day I quit my show.
I know. Then just not you. I didn't actually say you. All right, I'm being honest. I didn't say you.
He didn't
I
mean
said
us.
Spangle and Marc. But
So did the radicals invite Bill Weld to be in the debate?
no.
Don't you believe in free speech, Johnny?
Not
They
on his
shouldn't.
platform.
It's hence the name Radical. They're not going to have Bill Weld on it.
I
you
would
know?
love to hear Bill Weld in a debate with all those radicals. You kidding me? That'd be amazing.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. It'd be almost like Gary Johnson versus Roger Lee Wrights.
Yeah.
But, Wrights just destroyed his ass in the debates, and then of course Gary Johnson beats him, 4-3 at the.
Now, Rodger, are you a rotisserie chicken?
Am I a rotisserie chicken?
I don't know if we're gonna post this video, Mark, but Rodger has like a bright red light on the top of his head. He looks like he looks like he's summoning a demon.
Changes to blue.
I'm posting this video for our $10 and higher patrons.
Yeah, I'm just playing around. So we put some LED lights in my isolation booth, my wife and I, just to kind of give us some ambiance and kind of a room away from the kids for her. No, I'm kidding. Seriously, no. But,
Well, you want to
Anyway,
get good
so
It's the
audio.
red
now.
room now.
Good.
the LEDs are
You
more
want to know what goes on in the red room.
Yeah.
Rodger's red room.
Well, now what you need to do, Roger, is like, hey, baby, come here and here. You know, we got the blue lights, you know. It'd be like, it's all romantic and shit.
Rodger just about fell off a stool. Another reason to become a $10 a month subscriber.
So I dropped my remote for the lights, and others stuck on red. I can't reach the motherfucker because it's under my table.
No. Leave the red. I like the red. It looks good on you.
It does.
Okay.
You look like
I was going
Satan.
to save the red for when you and I got into an argument. Then I was going to flip it on.
Yeah, you look like, I love it, dude. You look like Satan. Got to get the horns. Bam, you got it.
We submitted questions. I don't know how many arguments there are going to be. Rodger and I just kept agreeing on question after question before we started.
I
here.
know.
Are you guys
I was like, what
actually
the
gonna?
fuck?
Are you guys actually gonna like make a truce? Give
Oh.
each other a hug?
I-
It's gonna be like a.
I would hug Rodger anytime. I
And
can
we hugged
disagree.
at Porcfest a couple of times.
Yeah, I can disagree with
I grabbed
Rodger
all your
and still
asses,
like
so
him.
I feel pretty proud. Got the ass grabs of everybody. Actually made out with Spangle. Fucking accomplished.
Tongue.
Mission accomplished. Love it. My fucking life is complete, guys. Thank you so
Jesus
much.
Christ.
Fucking love y'all.
Now,
You're very welcome, sir.
no, I mean, someone asked the question. They ask, "What would you do?" And Rodger, you answer the question. What do you
Where's
do?
Rodger?
What do you do to deal with the stress of the constant fights in the libertarian movement?
And my answer was, I avoid the Libertarian Party movement, hands down.
No,
That's
libertarian
how I deal with it.
movement. I'm forget the party.
No, she said libertarian with a big L, and I specifically responded with a libertarian with a big L for that reason, because the Libertarian Party nonsense. Yeah, I stay as far away from that as possible.
I'd like to nominate the whole libertarian movement, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, even here in New Hampshire, where we've got it really good, where, I mean, you had to, basically move from everything you've known your entire life to move to New Hampshire. And these people are doing this. And we still have drama. We still have some bullshit. That's always going to happen in any movement of more than 2 or 3 people.
It's human nature. I think sometimes we give the libertarians a bad rap as a movement. Like, oh, just look at these libertarians embarrassing other libertarians. It's like, do you realize that this goes on in every other single, like, I learned politics from my Methodist church. Like, it's not libertarians, it's human beings. We're just disagreeable by nature.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
But,
I agree.
the thing about now is that I have the option, because I mean, in Arkansas, let's be honest, in most states, when you go to a Libertarian Party event, there's a handful of people there. So you don't have a whole lot of libertarians to choose from to be friends. I mean, because you're so limited in supply. Here in New Hampshire, I avoid more libertarians than I hang around with just because I don't like certain ones. But we have that option here because there's so many libertarians to choose from. We had like 120 people at our Thanksgiving Day event at our Liberty meetup space we have here. 120 people, and it was just fantastic.
I think in a lot of ways the Free State Movement, I love the Free State Movement after going to Porcfest and seeing it in action, and I think it's kind of indicative of what ought to be done in states, and starting with New Hampshire, I think you guys have a great blueprint, because I think if you're trying to gather libertarians online, you're inevitably just going, it's just like, online doesn't work, comment sections don't work, it's just constantly divisive and it wears you out. But we're meant to be face to face with each other. And I remember talking to one guy at Porcfest in the tent, and he goes, if I hadn't found the Free State Project, I would have killed myself, because moving here, I found so much meaning. I had nothing in common with anybody I lived near. There were no other libertarians. There was nobody that was like me. And then I moved here, and then I just got so many friends, and we hang out all the time. And I know that I wouldn't have lived had it not been for the Free State Project. And that's when it was like, wow, okay, this is like a really important thing that goes on here, because people are like gathering together in person as opposed to just online, and where like you can network online, but you can't have true friendships like you can face to face.
Sure, absolutely. That's why I'm glad I met you. That's why I'm glad I hung out with you instead of dealing with you on Facebook when we first got to know each other.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad we all have beards. That's what I'm excited about.
It took
'Cause
me
Chris
32
now
years.
has
Yeah.
It took you quite
I
a bit
shaved
of
not
time.
too long ago, but it's pretty much grown back.
Chris, yours is coming through. I mean, you got
Yeah.
some burliness going on the side.
If I really puff it up, yeah, it gets Rodger like. It took me about I couldn't young men out there who are under 30, if you can't grow a beard, wait, because somewhere around 30, 31, 33, you'll be able to start growing whiskers. And I have like a full beard. It's majestic.
Look at him. Chris, you look like a leprechaun.
I know. I need to trim it. I'm starting to get a little. The point is to make my face look less round, and that's doing the opposite. I look like I'm about to stomp out a village with Rodger.
You have to trim this, extend this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There you go. No, I by the way, I think the Free State Project's great. I love what you guys are doing, Rodger. And, dude, this is awesome. I mean, like, I wouldn't move to New Hampshire. I'm not going to move there. But I think it's great that you're doing it, and people are doing it. And people are excited to move there because it's a somewhat free state. You're going to change it eventually, right?
It normally reaches number one or number two as the freest states in the country, depending on which list you look at. Cato does one every year, which is pretty good. So, I mean, we're definitely way up there. But I'll be honest, as much as I love the Free State Project, look, my wife and I do Porcfest. I'm on the Free State Project board. I give money to the Free State Project. I moved 1,500 miles away from everything I knew to be a part of it. But there are other projects out there that look like they could be much better. You got Free Cities, which is a Rodger Veer, Bitcoin Jesus. That's his big project.
Right.
And he's looking at basically buying a plot of land from a country, creating all sorts of international agreements with them, and then making that a libertarian utopia. Of course, you got Liberland. You've got, there's seasteading. There's so many projects. As soon as one of them is better than the Free State Project, I'm fucking out of here and moving to that one. I mean, it's not about the Free State Project for me. It's about that liberty of my lifetime, and I'll find it one way or another.
I think we're genuinely on the verge of the economic collapse that Gary Salenta is always predicting.
For 30 years or whatever.
If you've listened to what's the Peter Schiff for the last 15, 20 years.
Gerald Salente, that's who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was like, who is he talking about?
I think the credit bubble is becoming to be... I think this next big economic collapse is going to be pretty significant, and I think we're going to get to the point here in America where the authorities just can't keep up. We're already at a point where there's really... Like, I had my tires stolen a month ago, and the cops don't come and investigate. They don't come out and actually do anything about it. Like, criminals can just come and steal your stuff already. I mean, it's if you're not protecting yourself, you're already living...
that would suck, though, waking up in the morning, Chris, and be like, gotta go to work. Oh, fuck. Guess I can't. I guess I gotta call in sick. What do you do? At that point, Uber, I don't know.
Dude, my neighbor knocked on my door, and he said, "Do you drive a gray Chrysler?" And I went, "Yeah, your wheels are gone." And so then I immediately called the police, the insurance.
That's fucked up. Yeah.
These criminals came in here and stole wheels off of a car parked next to a police officer. So if you think that the police can do anything for you, you're wrong. So they're that brazen. They're never going to get caught. So they can do whatever they want because everybody just assumes the police are going to protect you. They can't.
Are you next to Gary, Indiana? Is that why?
No, I'm next to an interstate, and so what people do is they drive from, here in Indianapolis, you're within 2 hours of Louisville, Chicago, Dayton, all these different cities, and so people drive into our interstates, jack your stuff, and it's sold before the day's even over.
Wow.
So, but insurance took care of it, and I had an issue, and so I basically got taken care of. It worked out fine, but yeah, I think the idea of these independent little states, I think they're really achievable if libertarians can kind of just stop, getting distracted with each other and start actually convincing people that it's libertarianism and not socialism that's the right ideology. I think they're really possible in our time.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm gonna start the free Ibiza project. I'm gonna get libertarians to all take over the island of Ibiza.
Yeah, give me pad for a second. I'll look up questions.
Yeah, I don't have mine pulled up, but we did have a couple of questions in some of the Facebook groups, and a couple of them were actually pretty good questions.
Well, I looked that up. Not Mark. Johnny.
I have some.
You actually moved. Tell us about your move.
My move?
Yeah, you moved.
Oh, yeah, I'm in Arizona.
The one where you went to the other side of the country?
Yeah, that one. Well, let me tell you about it. Actually, it was kind of interesting the other day. I'm actually going to do a 2-minute hate speech on this. I went to get emissions, right? Because that's like a thing here, apparently. all of a sudden. You have to get emissions. What I found interesting, though, is I was expecting to get raped in the ass because in Washington, when I went to get my vehicle registered, it was like $400 to get my vehicle registered.
Jeez.
And I was like, damn, that's like half the cost of the car. Like, fuck. Fuck, I got my 4Runner. I'm cool. And I'm like, $400? And then I came here and I'm like expecting to pay like fucking another $400 to get it registered here. And they're like, that's like $60.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool. And then I started thinking about it. And I'm like, I'm getting fucked still. But why are we happy that we're getting fucked less? Like, we shouldn't be getting fucked at all. Like, that's my point. Like, why should I be forced to pay some fucking registration for a vehicle and then turn around and say, well, it isn't that bad, but it's still fucking getting fucked in the ass? Like, that's the thing I was going to say is like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, I had to pay registration to get my goddamn vehicle done. I had to pay $17, exactly $17. I wish they made it $20. It would have been an even $20 bill. But why 17? I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make here is, like, we get fucked. And yet everyone's like, oh, I didn't get fucked as much as I should have gotten fucked. It's like, fuck you. This is all bullshit. I'm glad I didn't get fucked as hard as Washington. $300, $400. But it's $60. You're still getting fucked by the state, guys. So that's my bitch for the moment.
You're getting fucked by the state when you take a piss. Everything
I
that
know,
you
I
do
get it.
is regulated in some form or fashion.
Yeah. But I got fucked by the state, but it was like, it wasn't like a total, like, fuck me in the ass, like, without lube. I just got like a reach around kind of now with this thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't a straight up anal fuck. It was just like, hey, how's it going, buddy?
All right.
But that's the thing.
I'm gonna have
like,
to beat
people
this
like
one for my listeners.
Yeah, but the thing is, here's the thing that fucking pisses me off though. Why am I paying fucking bullshit fucking money to the goddamn state to register my vehicle? Fuck you.
Because
Fuck
you are their slave. Because you're their slave, Johnny. You are their slave.
Yeah, well, I'm
there's
not
my
going to get
classic
pulled
Rodger
over.
line.
I want to have a JOB, you know, like.
Try this, Johnny. Try not paying it, and
Yeah.
then see what happens, and then you'll find out real quick how much of a slave you really are.
Yeah, because it will be like $500 if I don't pay. So I'd like.
Right. But then if you don't pay and you don't go to court, then they'll send men with guns to your house. And those men with guns will ask you nicely to come with you. And then if you don't come with them nicely, they will shoot you in the fucking head and kill you.
I get it.
So tell me how much of a slave you are.
The classics.
That was like a greatest hits.
No, fuck the state and their goddamn registration. I'm telling you, fuck you. I'm tired of this bullshit. And you have to register your tabs, emissions, the environment. Fuck the environment. I want fucking things to die. Fuck that. I am so tired of all this shit. I'm tired of emissions. I'm tired of your registration driver's license. Fuck you. Fuck you, man. I am so tired of it.
100% because of the bad internet signal that I have, I heard him say, I'm tired of menstruations.
Yeah, you heard right. That's what he said.
Of menstruations.
Now, that's the kind of... Johnny's 2 minutes hate are really funny because he gets that worked up every single time. I
am tired of this bullshit, dude. I am tired of the goddamn state. I am taking a full Rodger Paxton here. And that's what I tell people. What did you do on your last state speech? I did a full Rodger Paxton. Oh, okay, good.
All right, let's
you,
answer some questions. So, Mark, you've got some
go
questions
ahead.
ready?
I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't
you're
mean
good,
to
man. That was
fucking
fun.
disturb the...
Oh, no, that was great, Johnny.
Yeah, do we just
Rock
want
on,
to,
brother. Rock on.
I don't know. Johnny posted his thing on his public Facebook wall, so I don't know. I don't know if it was like supporters or not.
I put it on the Blast Off page too.
Well, I suck. I didn't post it anywhere. My listeners don't get.
Well, mine are thoroughly vetted.
I've lost my supporters. Damn it.
My questions are thoroughly vetted because it's only from people in the Lions of Liberty Pride Facebook group, our group for our Patreon supporters. So I'll toss one out, and then if you guys have one from someone, you can toss one in. But Stephanie Bloom Parker, she wants to know, do you let your political views / philosophy prevent you from enjoying music, movies, or other forms of entertainment? Have you been so turned off by a public personality's views that you can no longer enjoy their work? I will say for me, no, it doesn't. I can't really think of many times I let that bother me, because if I did, I would be able to enjoy probably very little media. Yeah. So if I could only listen to work that spoke to me, where the artist also spoke to me politically when they're not doing their work, then it would be like I can listen to backwards. That's it. So I don't.
When I was a neocon, I was much worse about this than I am now. I wouldn't watch anything with Sean Penn, for example, or Kevin Spacey, because they were both super anti-gun. So yeah, when I was younger and dumber, I made those kind of mistakes. But now I don't. I mean, hell, I watch House of Cards with Kevin Spacey. Loved it. Motherfucker is about as anti-gun as they come. So whatever. It's just entertainment, and if you can't separate the two, then you have no business watching anyway.
I'm very much like Rodger. When I was a Republican, I was much more apt to turn something off because I felt, oh, this is liberal, or this is not. And I think it's because when we're threatened by something or we're offended by something, it's really because we don't have the convictions or totally understand what we believe. And so watching somebody on the TV that may disagree with me talk about something, it doesn't affect me because I know what I believe and I've thought it through. And so I think that's part of it. You got to know what you believe and work that through. I do sometimes, if something is just so over the top, ham-fisted indoctrination, then I will turn it off, or I'll switch channels. I felt that Designated Survivor.
So you're not going to watch Bowling for Columbine?
No, but see, here's the thing. I'll watch something like that. I'll watch a lot of documentaries. Something that has substance to it. I'll watch Democracy Now! Even sometimes because I want to understand the liberal perspective on things. But it's done.
The best way to refute. The best way to refute a perspective is to learn everything you can about that perspective, because then you've got the stuff to refute. And
right.
I'm with you. I listen and watch as much liberal and conservative stuff as I can handle for that exact reason.
Yeah, I'll watch a Ben Shapiro because I know Ben Shapiro knows what he believes, and I may not disagree, or I may not agree or disagree with him, but at least I know the guy's thought it through and read a book. But Tommy Lauren, I'll turn her off in a second because she's just appealing to a base, and I think there's a new wave of libertarians that are kind of doing that too, where it's just they're pitching for the cheap seats, and I'm not down with it. I want somebody like Murray Rothbard can shitpost because Murray wrote 1,500 books in his lifetime, and I know he knows what he believes. But your meme page means nothing to me. So yeah, if there's substance to it, then I'll watch it, even if I disagree with it. But Tommy Lauren, no thanks.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to have to say it does deter me. It does. I'm not saying that I'm going to, ban it in my house, but at the same time, I'm also going to not watch it. Because to me, it's I get Rodger's point. You got to know your enemy. I get it. But at the same time, it's I want to be built up and I want to learn what these people know, not be torn down. So, I will not listen to U2. I never liked them anyways. But I will not listen to Bono. Fuck Bono. But I will listen to, in the back of my mind, I guess there is some sort of thing where I do have difficulty listening to bands if I know they're commies. You know what I mean? I do have problems with it. And I'm not going to listen to them. That's my choice. It's subjective value.
Go ahead,
at
this
Rob.
point, we even have Bono, praising capitalism. I don't know if you guys saw.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. But forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
He's got some libsock tendencies.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you can only be a socialist for so long before you realize it's psychotic and it's not going to work, and then eventually you start looking at other things. Right. And I honestly believe that's what happened to Bono. He saw that capitalism was what was, making so much of this help and this aid happen. I think that was a big wake-up call.
Yeah, well, and also made him rich.
Certainly no libertarian, but...
Right, but it also made him rich, Rodger.
Well, sure, absolutely. That's
you know what I mean? The fucker would be broke. He'd be on the side of some street corner right now playing fucking Joshua Tree or some bullshit like that, Well, I don't even know if that was an actual song or the name of the album, but I didn't really give it a listen. But what I'm getting at is, it's just bullshit. I have a problem looking at commie videos. I watch the Ken Burns series on history of the Great Depression. I didn't give it much thought because I knew that motherfucker was a fucking pinko. And it's just like
he's a pinko, no doubt, but the dude is a great documentary.
No, I'm not saying he isn't good, but I'm just saying like I have problems. You know what I mean? Like I'm like,
my wife and I watched the National Parks, his documentary on the National Parks, that series, and it was great because we love the outdoors and we love parks,
right?
And so, I mean, it was fantastic.
And then he's like, and this is why you need taxpayer funding. And Rodger's like,
that's
no,
exactly right. There was a whole bunch, there was so much state worship and statutory in there that it was nauseating. It really was.
That's how the Roosevelts is one of my favorite documentaries. I think it's the best one that he's done. But it perfectly, if you're a libertarian, it perfectly illustrates everything that was wrong with both of the Roosevelts and Eleanor. Like, it was really well done and really engaging, and I could not stop watching it, but it was just...
What was wrong with Eleanor? She was psychotic.
All right, Mark, how about you? Do you turn things... I think you said no. You already answered the question, didn't you?
No, but I had a follow-up with Johnny, because I think it was, or all of you, I guess. My thought was, Johnny, you were kind of referencing more like music, and then Rodger mentioned documentaries, and I think that stuff is a little harder to separate because more so documentaries, obviously, because if someone's making a documentary, it is propaganda. Even if you agree with the propaganda, that's what a documentary is essentially. So that's harder to separate someone's real views, knowing that those views are definitely skewing the work, and maybe even more so in music. But I was more thinking of, in terms of like watching a movie, like, if Kevin Spacey is in Usual Suspects, I don't. To me, that's so far separated from his beliefs that to me there's just no connection there.
I'm with you on this. Like if the movie that has no political reference or it's just a movie, I don't give a shit what their political beliefs are.
So I guess there's layers of it because there's some culture, there's some media that's closer to the person's actual beliefs and their heart.
How good is the artist? Like I was listening, and I don't pay attention to like lyrics and stuff. I listen to the music, I guess, and somebody like Johnny, who's much more musical than I am, probably listens to lyrics, and some people glom onto lyrics. Like I was listening to Rage Against the Machine, and I'm just listening to the music, and I'm like, fuck, this is good. But then I started
I'm now picturing you moshing to Rage Against the Machine.
And then I was
hilarious.
Like, these guys are communists, and I think it depends on how good of an artist they are. Like if Kevin Spacey draws you in and you don't realize that's Kevin Spacey, and I think there's this thing going on, this literalism in society where this artist doesn't agree with me politically, so fuck them. I'm never going to support them. I'm never going to support this because they don't agree with me politically. And like to me, I just don't like. We're just siloing ourselves off even more, and I just don't buy into that. Like I'll watch something to see what kind of. Is it stupid? Is it fun? Is it artistic? You never know.
Yeah, it's like the Dixie Chicks. Remember with the whole anti-Bush bullshit, right? Where they were like, stop the war, which we now all agree on, right? They were right, but it didn't go. It went against the Republican agenda, and who was their biggest selling point? Who were the people buying their CDs? The fucking right, the conservatives, the Republicans. So now we're in this position. They fucked themselves, actually. They did. If they would have been cool, they would have shut the fuck up. Do not be political if you're in music.
Yeah.
Or any entertainment industry. If you're smart, just stay neutral. Because that's smart. Because that way, nobody can blame or point the finger at you.
What if you're a libertarian podcaster?
That's different.
Your art is different.
Because we're a libertarian podcaster. Hence the name.
Yeah, like I'm sure Tom Hanks is a flaming liberal, but I don't want to know it. I just don't don't get.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I don't want to wish it. Maybe deep down, maybe somewhere.
There's also a ridiculous aspect to it. Like with the Dixie Chicks, it was that they criticized Bush overseas, like in Germany somewhere, and so conservatives are like, they can say what they want, but not overseas. It's like. What? You check your right to free speech when you travel across an imaginary border? Exactly. What? And I've seen people push that lately. It's so stupid.
But what they do is when you're in like if you're a big national band or whatever, and you start getting into politics, you're dumb. You're really stupid because you're going to definitely kill your record sales one way or another. You're not going to increase them one way or another.
Well, look at social media. I think that their decision to edit political speech has absolutely killed these platforms.
You're right. Just shut the fuck up. Make your music. That's what you're paid to do. Like that's what I got to say. And if you're a libertarian podcast, like we all are, we say it ahead. So like nobody's surprised. Like when people go, what do you guys do? We're a libertarian podcast. Okay, fucking it's out there.
Right.
You know, it's not like we're trying to be sneaky about it. You know, it's like whatever, dude. We know what you're doing. You're doing a goddamn libertarian podcast. I don't know.
Johnny makes me realize that I should always drink during these shows. This is like the first time.
Am I
think
the
I
next
haven't
Howie?
done.
Here
I
I
can tell
am.
the difference between me and Johnny now.
No.
My answer to that is don't vape cannabis because you zone out and completely ignore what's going on half the time.
Rodger doesn't even have a light on him. He's just that red from the pot.
So I've got a question for everybody. What is everybody's? Just give me a quick. What was your gut reaction to George W. Bush dying?
George H.
Start with you,
Bush.
Johnny. Just a quick gut reaction.
Start with me.
Yeah, what was your gut reaction when he died?
You know, I don't want. You know, it's he's probably even though he was a statist, he probably did horrible. I know he did horrible things.
Like killing
I don't
Kennedy?
want to see, but he's still a human being. He has a family, and those people love him. He has a family that is there, and I mourn their loss for his life, honestly, because I'm compassionate, and I honestly do.
I don't mourn the
I
loss.
think he's an asshole. Sure, he did some horrible shit, but at the same time, I honestly believe that, you know what, they should have the right to celebrate or to acknowledge his death, and I don't think we should lower the flag and all that bullshit. Fuck that. But I do think that it's, I feel for his family.
The stock market is shutting down on Wednesday in his honor.
Let me give my reaction because I think it's going to dovetail into what Rodger will say. My first reaction was, yeah, he was old. And then my second reaction was, oh, the libertarians are going to be so fucking annoying. And here's my thing.
Wait, are you guys like bonding? What's going on?
No. He's making fun of me on this one.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
I'm like, I was hoping he was like bonding with you.
Because I really work hard and think through like how to message things and how to like convert people to libertarianism. And I've been thinking a lot lately. A former co-host of mine said, if you really are making fun of Trump too much or being too unfair to him, it actually works against your favor because people who like Trump may be libertarians down the road or interested in libertarianism, and they're not going to forget when you were a dick to the guy that they liked at the time. And I think some of that is starting to apply to Ocasio-Cortez, and I think that goes for a lot of these politicians like McCain and Bush. And I think when we single out individual politicians too much, not about their policies, like I think it's perfectly reasonable what Nick Gillespie wrote in Reason, which was a total takedown of his policies. But when you're in groups comparing George H.W. Bush to Stalin, seriously, somebody did that to me the other day. Like you're making an argument that's so hyperbolic that people just dismiss you, and it's the libertarian macho flash. Only Rodger may remember that particular oldie but goodie, but it's like you're trying to virtue signal to other libertarians that you're the most pure, and you're totally moving everybody else away from you, and it's counterproductive. And I see a lot of that when somebody like McCain or Bush dies. We do things that are really
fuck McCain. Fuck that guy. All right.
I only
him.
want to interject.
I would
because we
piss
actually got
on
a
his
question
grave.
On this subject. Well, no, this actually ties directly into a question from Lee Letourneau.
I have
he's
to pee.
a Lions Liberty Patreon supporter, and he actually asked this question: does publicly celebrating the death of a world leader on social media help to bring people to libertarianism? Does it depend on society's perception of said leader? So I think that's kind of where he's going with it, I guess. To answer Rodger's original question, my personal reaction was somewhere between, I don't really care. This guy was going to die eventually. And, fuck this guy. He's responsible for the deaths of many, many, many people. Maybe not Stalin levels, but, between, I guess, let's see, what did he do? He did Noriega. A lot of innocent people died in Panama then. He did Iraq 1. A lot of innocent people died then, and that was clearly a very shady situation where they essentially gave gave Saddam Hussein the green light to go ahead and invade Kuwait and said everything would be fine, and then turn around and created the propaganda about the babies in incubators, which was known to be completely false at the highest levels and was on the same level of the weapons of mass destruction, a lie that was allowed to be perpetrated in order to execute a war. So, sure, he's not Stalin, but to me, people that commit high crimes and treason, like launching full-scale wars and being responsible for the deaths of endless numbers of people, still deserve scorn. That doesn't mean we might not want to be strategic about how we go about celebrating or not their death, but
I don't think it's a good look to ever celebrate somebody's death, but I think what you just did was perfectly appropriate because you're in a situation where people are open to listen to your argument and what you have to say, as opposed to putting on Facebook or Twitter, fuck that guy, he was a war criminal, and then there's no other context to your argument whatsoever, and people aren't just going to listen to you because you're just kind of...
Well, I mean, comments like that, Chris, are for the echo chamber.
That's exactly my point,
those kind of comments. Yeah, so I mean, those 90% of those I don't even pay any attention to because, again, it's doing nothing for the discourse at all. Absolutely. Now, I would never celebrate the death of any human being, but I would certainly celebrate a human being not being around anymore. I guess those are kind of the same things. But, Marc said it. George Bush was a warmonger, period, hands down. The second question I want to ask is, who was George Bush? I mean, the thing is, yeah, he did some horrible things. But should we care either way whether he's alive or dead now? Because it doesn't matter anymore. But it's big news just because he ruled our nation for a while. He was one of our rulers. We have to adorn him. Fuck that noise.
It's not like him dying stops any sort of bad thing from occurring in the past or in the future.
But
it's completely irrelevant.
You're right, Marc. But here's the thing. We also have to look at the fact that he was a statist, obviously, but he didn't
parents.
But here's the thing, though.
So is most of the people around us.
Right. Maybe he thought that he was doing the right thing. Like, we don't know what these people are thinking.
I mean, Hitler thought he was doing the right thing. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, Hitler did. He thought he was doing the right thing. I'm going to give it exactly, Rodger. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of people who think, yeah, if we bomb these people, if we commit these acts of terror and war, right, we're doing the right thing because of America, freedom. Fuck that. Fuck that bullshit. But there's a lot of people who think that. Like, they're not bad people, but their mindset is wrong, and I'm going to blame public fucking education on this. I'm going to blame public education on this. Because when I was in school, Rodger, Marc, Chris, were we all in public school? Every one of us, right?
Yes. I sure was.
Yes.
Right. So when something happened, a war happened, what did we all do? We're like, yeah, go. Fight, America, go, yay.
Yep.
Right? We're brainwashed. We just figured this shit out too late, right? But like everyone else, every one of these kids in school right now is dealing with this shit. What are we going to do?
Well, I was 16 when the first Gulf War kicked off.
Yeah.
And I remember running, as soon as I heard it on the news, I remember running to my bedroom to pick up my phone and call my best friend to say, dude, we're at war. It's cool. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
You're absolutely right. You nailed it.
Yeah, and I think we have to remember that we're on the other side of the breaking of the mythology. Like, there's all this mythology and indoctrination that goes on around the religion of the state. And most of the people, I think Marc nailed it, and I don't know if it came through in the mix, but Marc said most of our parents, our friends, our family still believe in all of that mythology, and you have to be sensitive to the fact that they still believe these things, and you don't want them to think that you're making fun of them or making them, like... Then they just sort of turn you off because you're being like a superior. Like, trust me, I think, Rodger, you get this. Being a superior intellect and talking down to people sometimes backfires on you when you're trying to message libertarianism. And I think sometimes in these deaths, a lot of libertarians are completely missing the mark. You're supposed to attack the ideology, not the actual man or woman that is holding the ideology, because people believe that this figurehead is significant and it's part of the fabric of their identity, and they take it very personally when you attack, I guess is the way to put it. So we ought to start, we got 10 minutes here, and it'll take probably that much time to wrap it up. So why don't we start going around and talking about what's going on in our various podcast worlds, what's brand new. Rodger, why don't we start with you?
I like
Give us
how
an
Chris
update.
uses the old radio trick. Oh, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
We got a commercial. We're up against a commercial break.
Hey, what do you know? Hey, we got 5 minutes. Go. Rodger Paxton.
So what's new with me? Not a whole lot. Still, just doing the same old.
Did you say same old, same load?
Yeah, right. Just got a couple of new audiobooks signed contracts for that I'm working on, and enjoying life and living free in New Hampshire.
Can we hear your audiobook voice? Like, give us a sample of your audiobook voice.
Shit, if I had something to read. Can we come back to that?
Yeah. Because I I don't know about you guys, but I have a definite, like, I'm talking right now in a way that is different than the way I talk in real life. My niece thinks it's hilarious when I do my radio voice. She's 5. She cracks up when I do it because it sounds so different. I want to know if you have an audiobook voice.
I hate when I have to record, when I have like, a girlfriend or someone else that's here and I know they can hear me and I know they're hearing, like, it sounds funny to other people when they hear it only one side of that voice, because it is somewhat of a put on of a voice because you have to speak differently. I mumble and gibberish in real life, so I have to speak differently when I'm actually recording audio. Many would argue I mumble and gibberish even on podcasts, but trust me, it's much worse in real life. So you have to put on a voice to some extent.
You sound the same.
Yeah, I agree, Mark. You really do.
You sound the same, dude.
Maybe I'm just so comfortable with you guys.
You just mumble on the show. That's fine. We love
you. Mouthful of tuna. That's your problem.
I think it's more when I'm doing ad reads or something too. I have to, it's really hard to just be speaking only to a computer and try to keep a conversational tone. I think that's right. When it's more, or when I'm recording a show intro all by myself. It's different when I'm actually interacting with people. And now that we have video, it almost is more like I'm sitting in front of a casual conversation. But if I'm like, hey, tune into this, it's like, how do I do that casually? Into this. I have not mastered that skill at all.
You know what, guys, I actually put out a demo reel for the first time for doing a voiceover work, and I was like, Gillette, the best the man can get. Like I was doing like the Solid Snake version of, if you guys like Metal Gear, Gillette, the best the man can get. Anyway, so I get it. I get it. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Rodger. Go ahead.
All right, Johnny, what's going on in Launchpad?
I don't know. I don't know. Everything's great, actually. We have a new show coming out in January called The Orchard with Kim Ruff and Miss Sarah Daggers. And they're the two girls, the besties, my fiance and her best friend. They're going to do a show about how they hate men or something. I don't know. But it's going to be good. So that's coming out in January.
So tune in, men.
Tune in, men. You're going to hear two ladies talk about us, how much we suck. No, everything's great. I'm just here's the thing, guys. I've been working with Kim on her campaign. I've been just kind of helping her out. I've been working with the show Blast Off. We got a new, like I said, that is a show that they're going to do called The Orchard starting in January. And I've just been excited. I've been excited about fucking life, man. Dude, guys, I've never been so happy. And yet I've never been so angry at the same time. Does that make any fucking sense? I don't know. But like my life is awesome, but I just have noticed like everything about the state, how much I hate it.
I have a theory.
And the more and more.
I think that when you're kind of trying to survive and you're kind of scraping things together and you're worried about your own situation, it really sucks. And then once you kind of get some stability, and I've definitely seen this in my own life, is like after my divorce, I was crazy. And then over the last years, I've kind of gotten stable and, financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, all this stuff. Then it makes you angry for other people. You start to worry more about the community.
I am fucking angry. Dude, I am fucking angry.
Yeah.
I'm pissed. And like this whole thing, I've been doing these 2-minute hate speeches, man. And I have gotten so many compliments and like letters like, dude, somebody needs to say this shit. I'm like, fuck.
Letters? People are writing you letters?
Yeah.
On, scroll paper?
On paper.
Dearest
I've gotten fan mail.
Mr. Adams.
Right here.
I thoroughly enjoyed your 2-minute hate speech.
And I'm using it as a coaster right now. Thank you. All right?
Wow.
I'm actually true letters in scroll. Yeah. I mean, it's seriously, dude, it is cool. I'm loving it. Like, I'm just getting involved and just pointing out the fallacies of the state, and I'm not perfect. I know that shit I write is wrong or things I say are wrong. Sometimes
I'm laughing because Rodger looks like he just opened the briefcase in Pulp Fiction just now. He just got a mesmerized look on his face with a shining bright light.
What's that TV show where they open the pants and they pull the waistband out and the light shines up from the dick? What is that show? Damn. Put it in the Legal Liberty podcast group.
Everything is good. I'm just cruising along. Blast Off is great. Launchpad is great. Thank you guys all. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Rodger, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, I had nothing to say.
You have nothing new going on.
Oh, no, I've already answered that question. No, there's not really anything new going on. It's the same old here. Same old, same load, as Mark said.
Okay. Well, I guess that's everyone.
Mark? No, we haven't even done Mark or me.
I haven't even gotten to
fuck
me or
you
Chris,
guys.
but I wish I had more new to. I'm like you guys, I guess. I guess we're all boring this month. I don't have a ton new to report. We're just doing what we've been doing.
I'm not boring.
So-
I had a lot to say.
Well, you have a lot to say. That's not really a report. Johnny's angry at the state. That's not breaking news. It's
I
just
think
No,
Mark
what
it
was
is a
saying you
happened.
have a lot
report.
to say, but I think Mark was saying that you have a lot to say, but you didn't have much to say.
Yeah, something like that. You say a lot, but you don't have much to say.
I have no substance. Thanks, Mark. Fuck off. I love you.
My words are being misconstrued.
No. You're supposed to yell at him. Do not put fucking words in my mouth.
Anyway, yeah, we're doing our thing at Lions of Liberty. Brian just hit 100 episodes of his podcast, Electric Liberty Land, which is of course part of our multi-show format. And then John is still killing it with Felony Fridays. Really, just probably one of our more important shows because it's the kind of show that you can give to someone on the left or someone that just has a heart and let them hear one of these stories about people getting screwed over by the criminal justice system and oftentimes really turning their life around and just to kind of give them an inspiring tale that also does show them the corruption and many of the problems with the state, with the laws and that sort of thing. So I think it's a very good gateway drug to the ideas of liberty. So I always try to hype that up. Felony Friday, every single Friday on Lions of Liberty. And yeah, we're just doing our thing, pumping out our content and trying to keep on growing. So pay us money and help us do that.
Right on, man.
We've actually had a big month or so, big couple months since we last talked. There wasn't a ton going on. I had started doing in, I think, August, a daily show, and I was doing like 10 hours a week. I was doing two 2-hour shows and then a daily 20-minute show, and it was just, by the end of September, I collapsed. I was dead. It was a lot. So I was talking it through, and one of my co-hosts, Sarah Brady Wagner, she goes, you're too stubborn to ask for help. And I said, well, how do I actually disperse this work? And she goes, why don't you form a research team? And that's what I did. And then I also recruited a bunch of new hosts to do a daily show. So We Are Libertarians now has something in the feed 5 to 6 times a week. 3 times a week we have a 20-minute show that is everything from talking about the in vitro fertilization, how to lower the cost of healthcare, just a ton of different issues that I probably wouldn't find. I wouldn't probably do a show, or I couldn't fit it into one of the regular We Are Libertarians episodes that a bunch of people have been interested in, and it's been awesome because it's totally expanded the conversation and issues that we actually cover on the show, and really cool group of people. And then there's probably 10 to 15 people in our research group now, and so I have a dozen people working on every episode of We Are Libertarians that are really helping find perspectives and arguments that I never really had thought about, or I might have missed these little details. And so it's really kind of turned into a cool, fun thing, and it's one of the coolest periods of We Are Libertarians because we're putting out so much great content with so much depth and substance to it, and I'm really proud of it. So please tune in and tell your friends if you do listen.
Chris, you get more pussy than anyone.
This is Mittens, and Mittens.
He's actually covered in it right now.
Yeah, so Mittens. When I worked for the Libertarian Party of Indiana, I worked from home, and I had her as a kitten, and so she's very attached to me, and she wants everyone on the camera to know I'm hers and not yours. So she's very overprotective of me. So
Mittens should
she
step into
invades
the cat's
podcast a
cradle
lot.
sometime.
What'd you say, Mark?
I said Mittens should step into the cat's cradle sometime.
Yep.
You would know what that is if you had listened to me and Johnny's Thanksgiving special. I'm just going to
That's
assume
right.
that none
That's right.
of you have.
We did that. Yeah, that was good. That was, dude. By the way, Mark, the Rocket Fire portion of that show for the Patreons, dude, it was hysterical. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I highly recommend
So I ended
paying
up
Lions
putting
of
it
Liberty
in
and
my
Blast off the privilege to hear.
yeah. So I had it in my earbuds when I was going through the grocery store. I just started busting out laughing.
Big mistake.
And everyone's like, "What the fuck?" Everyone just thought I was nuts. They didn't see it because
It's especially weird for me because I have one earbud that I keep in, and it's
Yeah.
wireless, so no one can
Yeah.
see it. And I usually have a hat on,
Yep.
so I'll just start busting out laughing in the middle of the store, and no one will just think I'm insane, which is true.
Yeah.
that's what I do.
I've got
Yeah.
a lot to listen to now that I'm a patron.
Yeah, it's good. It was funny. Marc. Guys, that was great, man.
And the bonus segment we released today is fun. We tried to have an intervention for Howie and his drunkenness, so I recommend that one too. Let's just say he's not sober.
All right, guys. Well, we need to wrap up. So, any final words from the four of you?
We got final words.
Fuck the state.
And
I was thinking more like liberty.
Liberty.
Fuck
yeah.
Mittens got scared.
She ran away.
We suck at that.
We do.